Today I'm going to be talking you through how to do an install on a relatively flat transom hull. Today we're using the Mojo 2.5 and we are currently removing the system that comes on it from the factory. Now that we have the system removed from the boat, go ahead and unbox your tabs. Today we're going to be using the black anodized tabs. Pay close attention to the way the tabs are laid out and oriented. This tab on the port side, you will notice that the fins on the inside edge are definitely longer than the fins on the outside edge. Alright, now let's grab some painter's tape and we're going to take out a piece that's about 16-17 inches long and we're going to put it across the bottom of the boat in the general area where the tab's going to mount, following the bottom of the boat best as we can. Now we're going to grab a tape measure and what we're going to do is measure in from the outside of the boat. Now the magic number we're looking for is 4 inches in, but not all boats are going to allow for this. So I will give you a window of anywhere from 2 inches in to 6 inches in. If for any reason you don't have clearance to mount your tab in that window, please call GSA for assistance. What you're going to want to do here is remove the hinge from the tab. You're going to hold the hinge up along the bottom of the boat, and you're also going to line it up with the mark you made that was 4 inches in from the outside. Once you've got it close to the bottom of the boat as you can get it, and in a straight line, following the contour of the bottom of the boat as best that you possibly can, go ahead and mark all 7 holes in the hinge. Alright, now that we've got all our holes marked, we're going to take a 3/16 drill bit and a drill, and we're going to run the drill in reverse. This is important, in reverse, on each one of the little marks that we made, just to create a little bitty dimple. Now we're going to take a 21/64 drill bit in reverse and we're going to clean off all of the remaining gel coat around all of the guide points that we just created. Now take your 3/16 drill bit in forward and we're going to drill completely through the transom. Alright, the next step, we're going to go ahead and fill each one of the 7 holes up with silicone. Okay, let's go ahead and put the hinge back onto the tab. We're going to stick a couple screws through the hinge. We're going to kind of hold it up against the transom and just start 1 or 2 screws in. Now don't tighten them up, just get them started to hold everything in place. Once you've got a couple screws to hold it all in place, go ahead and run the remaining screws down. Be careful and make sure that you run everything down evenly as to not get the hinge into a bind. I'd like to go over one thing on this step. Some boats have a radius from inside to out, so your hinge will not mount completely flush. Your hinge can accept up to a 1/4 inch radius. If your boat is more than that, you will need to create a spacer with the spacer that is provided in your kit. If you have any questions on how to do this, please call GSA for assistance as we can help walk you through this process. It is actually pretty easy. Now that we've got all the screws tightened up, let's go ahead and grab the Linko actuator box. Go ahead and open it up, and I'm going to go over what's inside this box. You're going to have a Linko actuator with a wire with no connector on the end of it. Set that aside. You're going to have 2 bags. One is going to have the Linko hardware in it, and the other is going to have the connector that you will install after the wire goes through the transom. Now let's take a look at the Linko hardware. In this bag you will see a variety of nuts and bolts, black spacers, and nylon lock washers. Let's grab 2 spacers, 1 long black one and 1 short black one, and we're going to grab the stainless steel bolt that is not the small one or the long one, it's the one in the middle, and 1 nylon lock washer. You can put everything else back in the bag, you won't be using it. Alright, now we're going to tape off the area where the upper mounting bracket will mount to the transom. The best way to find this is draw a straight line from the transom to the lower mounting bracket on the tab. That should give you a pretty good idea of where this is going to mount. Tape off the area pretty much as I have done in this video. Alright, let's grab your battery and let's fully extend the Linko actuator. Fully extended, it will extend to 2 1/4 inches. Now, grab the upper mounting bracket for the Linko actuator, get it out of the box, and let's get it ready to install on the actuator. Please pay attention to the way that the upper mounting bracket is installed onto the actuator. The actual bracket triangle will be pointed up. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and put the pin through the lower mounting bracket. You can really pick any hole that you want. I would really recommend using the top center hole as a starting point. Now, let's hold the actuator and upper mounting bracket up against the transom of the boat. By simply applying a little bit of upward force with your leg, you can hold everything in place. Now, what we're looking for here is to try to get the gap between the top of the hinge and the bottom of the upper mounting bracket to be anywhere between 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Now, if your boat has a transom that goes straight up at 90 degrees from the bottom of the boat, you will have no problem achieving this dimension with the current lower mounting bracket position. But this boat, if you can or can't tell from the video, goes up and back towards me. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to remove the lower mounting bracket from the tab and move it back to the next set of holes.
My face above the water, my feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like I can see the sands on the horizon every time.
Alright, now that we've moved the lower mounting bracket back, we're going to fully retract the actuator using the drill battery, and we're going to hold the upper mounting bracket up about 1 inch to 1.25 inches above the top of the hinge. This is hard to do by yourself, so take a spacer or something to wedge in between the top of the tab and the bottom of the actuator to hold everything in place. You can move the spacer around to adjust the height of the tab. You're trying to get the tab up as close to the bottom of the swim platform bracket as possible. Now, when you found an area that looks good, go ahead and take a mark